How to fix a warped cutting board. Here is how to fix a warped cutting board using wood glue and clamps. To fix a warped cutting board, you'll need some wood glue, a drill bit corresponding to the size of the board screws, and a screwdriver. In addition, a warped cutting board can also make it more difficult to chop vegetables evenly. Step 1. Water and pressure. Leave the cutting board under pressure overnight or for at least 24 hours. Step 2. Heat and moisture. If your cutting board is made of wood, one way to fix it is to use heat and moisture. Step 3. Use a planer. If you have a planer, you can use it to flatten out your warped cutting board. Step 4. Use a sander. If you have a sander, you can use it to help flatten out your warped cutting board. Step 5. Use a wet rag. Leave the rag in place for 24 hours, then check to see if the board is any less warped. Step 6. Use an iron. If your cutting board is made of wood, you can use an iron to fix it. Step 7. Use a hairdryer. If the cutting board is only slightly warped, you can use a hairdryer to fix it. Step 8. Place the cutting board in the freezer. If your cutting board has warped, you can try to fix it by placing it in the freezer. After 24 hours, take the cutting board out of the freezer and see if it has straightened out. Step 9. Use a heat gun. If your cutting board is warped and you can't get it perfectly flat with the other methods, you can try using a heat gun. Step 10. The steam method. If your cutting board is wood, you can use steam to fix a warped cutting board. Step 11. Cutting or sanding the board. If your cutting board is made of hardwood, you can use a handsaw or power sander to even out the surface. 1. Flip it. Place the board on a flat surface, then apply pressure to the high side of the warp until it lies flat. 2. Use gravity. Leave it overnight, and gravity should do the trick. 3. Soak it. If your cutting board is made of wood, you can try soaking it in water to help straighten it out. 4. Full steam ahead. This is a great way to fix a warped cutting board if you have a steamer. The best fix is always prevention. The best way to keep your cutting board from warping is to avoid exposing it to excessive moisture. Cutting boards are an essential tool in the kitchen but can be prone to warping due to exposure to moisture and heat. Of all of these materials, the least prone to warping are composites such as bamboo, corn husk, and EcoWare's cutting boards. Bamboo is a sustainable resource, but it is also easy to care for and durable. If you're using wood filler, you'll need to apply it with a putty knife and then wait for it to dry. Conclusion. By following these easy steps, you can save yourself from purchasing a new one, and who doesn't love a good DIY project? If so, we want to hear about your experience in the comments below.